What's my favorite thing about Antigonish? That's a deep question. It's a great question.
And to be able to bring a different lens into our town, and for people to experience different people, different cultures is socially, you can't put a price tag on it. It's very, very good.
It's my first time living in a small community. I used to live like my province, the city I was in. When I was in Syria, I lived in a big city. And when I moved to Lebanon as a refugee, I lived in a big city too. So this is my first time experiencing a small town.
My name is Maysam. I'm 11 years old. I'm from Syria, and I was living in Lebanon.
People are being forced to flee their homes in Syria for a number of reasons. Uprisings turning violent, the descent into a civil war, usage of chemical weapons, and rebels have made Syria very difficult to live in for many people. Constant bombings and attacks make day-to-day life a living hell.
I mean, Syria is an ancient country, of course. Politically, it's an amalgamation of several religious groups, but Syria has, I mean, the Middle East has, as everyone pretty much knows, it's full of bad news stories, sadly. The bombings, so you have ISIS that formed and tried to take over, and they did for part of, they took over part of Syria. So you have that big group, and we know what ISIS is capable of. So they took control of parts of the country. You have the regime that held on to parts of the country, and of course religiously they're not, they don't see eye to eye. And then you have the various smaller groups trying to take control as well in some ways. Some of them, absolutely correct in their opposition to the regime, but of course, no one wants to give up power that easily.
To see the imagery or of the camps, or photos of the conditions that people are living in during that period of time, and it's very challenging conditions, and for these families it was no different. If you talk to them and you learn about what their journey from Syria through to their the refugee camps that they inhabited for sometimes 2 or 3 years before the opportunity to come to Canada.
I fled from Homs, which is my province, to Damascus, which is the capital of city, like 290 kilometers away from each other. I walked the whole distance between almond trees that grew there. And it took us 6 days walking, just during the night, and during the day just hide beneath the trees and eat almond. All the suffering I had been through, all the blood I saw, everything. It's just right away when I see almond, it's all my memory back. So.
With war raging in Syria, Canada stepped up in 2015 and promised to take in 25,000 refugees. Small community groups also decided to step up and speed up the process. Syria Antigonish Families Embrace, to date, has fundraised to resettle 3 families in the Antigonish area, including Maysam and her family.
Here there's like 8 months of winter, and there's like in Lebanon and Syria there's just 4 months.
The kids adapt language-wise so much quicker, and you just really see it in the parents' faces, like how much this move and all this is for their children.
The community was really ready for the families to arrive last January, and so really anticipated their arrival, and I think part of that was about the work that SAFE had already done within the community, but also then the work that was happening across the country.
By this point in time, approximately 11 million of Syria's citizens are displaced from their homes. As the situation continues to deteriorate, roughly 4 million people have fled Syria to neighboring countries.
Because it's my beginning for the future. It's a story it started. My story it started. My new story started here. The whole community together around you. You are new here, and you feel like the whole community. It's a sad feeling. You feel like the whole community is your family. Every young children, every young kid is your brother. Every old woman, you feel like it's your mother. Or every old man, you feel like your father. That's feeling just give us, like, from the first day, we couldn't communicate with people because I had no English. When I got here, I had no English. I couldn't communicate with people.
I mean, when they arrived and I started thinking about the fact that, like, it was even a new alphabet to learn. So it was really starting from square one. So one night I arrived at a family's house, and they had little Scrabble tiles out, and they were practicing printing letters from off of the Scrabble tiles. So really starting from nothing, and children in the family have helped the adults a lot in just to bring the language into their home.
But how does it make one feel? Certainly one can't help but feel inspired, feel hopeful, feel proud, but also humbled, again, because in many ways, while it's a really great outcome, and that's what makes you happy and proud and so on, it's humbling because, again, it's just, in many ways, just the right thing to do. Being happy and getting settled here, when you stop and think about it, it's not surprising. Again, one of the things that makes Antigonish mean so much to me is because of the people and the family and the deep roots.
How the refugees fit in, because they have that support, and because they feel supported, and they in turn want to support others. I think that's the crux. That's the crutch that we all need. That support.
Maysam and her family are the most recent refugee family to arrive in Antigonish through SAFE. Even though this may never be their forever home, they are enjoying their new lives in Antigonish.
Yeah, like my family and me, we love Antigonish, and we like all of things here.
To walk down the street and be able to see a family from Syria making their life here in Antigonish, the positive about that is, like I said, that's not even measurable.
Because of the success of them. Look, the environment here has enabled these families, I think, to integrate and feel welcome. But we need to shine the spotlight not so much on maybe the community or the politicians or even a university like St. FX. The spotlight has to be shone on the families. That they're the ones with the courage and the innovativeness and the entrepreneurial spirit to not just want to be residents here, but to be active citizens in our community.
So Antigonish is just an inspiration for people, for big cities. Just an inspiration. It's such a great story in this town, and I don't know what to say to the world. Just come visit Antigonish.
As a citizen, as a resident of Antigonish, it's really makes me proud to be from here. It makes me very humbled to see how successful it's been. But it doesn't happen by accident. It happens with a lot of hard work and a lot of heart.
These Syrian families have experienced their fair share of struggles and successes since moving to Antigonish. The hospitality, willingness to help, and encouragement given by the community to these families has made the difficult transition a little simpler. This may never be the permanent home for these families, but it is at least home for now.
All my family, we agreed that Antigonish is our second home after Syria.